Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. All right, I gotta have a disclaimer on this one here. I'm gonna do my best during this podcast episode to not really give it away who I'm talking about because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble from either current or past clients that I've worked with across not only just, my existing business, but past businesses, past products, past ways that I've tried to monetize what I do. But I am going to be covering some of that here today. So buckle up. This might get controversial. So welcome to this week's episode of the Chris Hanna Show. Today I'm talking about clients from hell. I'm going to share some nightmare projects, some scenarios, and some things that have kind of happened that maybe you need to look out for that are going to help you as you're trying to build your business and trying to grow. So hopefully you can learn from some of the stuff that I've gone through, some lessons that I've learned the hard way. I got to start with the first one, which is still a sore point for me because I was doing consulting. I was doing what was called an all-in deep dive. And that would be basically I'd come into your business and I would ask you questions as a business owner. I'd talk to your team. I'd take a look at, your infrastructure, whether it's your website, your social media content, some of your sales tools, your technology, and I'd give recommendations of how to improve it. It costs a few $1,000s, and it would ultimately give people recommendations of how to improve their business, take it to the next level. Some people have worked on full strategies, plans, documents, how to reorganize their team, their staff, everything. Very comprehensive. A lot of work. And so I would do these and I enjoyed them. They were fun. And then I did one where I didn't give a contract, which is mistake one on my part. And then I gave it to somebody at a discount. And I also ended up rescheduling existing commitments to fit this person in. So impacting other customers. And I say it's a client from hell in the sense that to this day, and we're coming up on I'd say 20 months now, I've never been paid. Not one dime. I've gotten, oh yeah, we'll get to it. Well, we'll do it, but it's never happened. So I think there's mistakes that I made here. One, obviously didn't have a contract. I obviously sent the invoice. I didn't really have those clear conversations about expectations around payment. I think I had done all the right stuff before. It's just this person I made an exception for. I gave all the deliverables before getting any payment of any sort as well. And so I say it's a client from hell because it is one that has just pissed me off so much that Raquel, my wife, says that it's living rent-free in my head. I need to let it go. So that's one version of a client from hell in the sense that it just, I felt like I was taken advantage of. To this day, I've not talked to this person. The last few times I did, I reached out. I just kept getting, sob stories about why they couldn't do what they were doing. But I was frustrated, and a lot of trust was burned. But it was good in the sense that for what I do with all-in content now, I collect deposits before I do work. I do have one existing client right now where I am chasing for some payments a little bit more regularly than I like. But for the most part, overall, 95% of our clients, are paying on time, which is great. Another red flag, kind of that there's challenges when you have nightmare clients, is around communication. I'm a big believer in the power of communication. Like I have a business communications degree. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think like being responsive is important. And so I've had clients where it takes a little bit of chasing and following up and trying to either get payments or get, sessions booked or get deliverables from them or content or access. And I can tell you, every time that I've questioned the responsiveness of a potential prospect or client, I've come to regret signing them. I've had clients where I would chase them for, confirmation of yes or no, whether we're a fit. And then when they eventually do sign, then I'm chasing, trying to get the contract signed. I'm chasing, trying to get access. But then, of course, then they're pushing, like, when do I get my videos and content, right? So, like, they drag their feet on the stuff that I need, but when they need it, it's vice versa. So, like, we just don't seem to communicate at the same, I guess, speed or level. And that's a red flag to me. It's a red flag that we're not a fit. And I have a client, or we'll call it a prospect right now, that I know is not a fit that I'm probably going to walk away from. Because from a communication side, we're not a fit. Like, they do not respond. They do not acknowledge anything. They do not do anything that they say they will do. And it's ultimately a drain on my time and resources. And I'd rather allocate that to other people. Like, yeah, I'm turning around potential money, but if it's a fucking pain in the ass, it's not worth doing. So yeah, that'd be something. I think that's a bit of a nightmare, for me in terms of, clients from hell. The other thing that I would think that's been a bit of a sore point for me with clients from hell are those who I'd say take advantage. When I first started my business, I kind of said yes to everything, right? Like, I'm trying to, if somebody asked to do something that's kind of outside the scope, I didn't have the confidence to say that should cost you more. And so I say yes to doing it. So I'll give you an example. So I'm obviously batch creating content. I have a client then who's asking for help with their website. And it's not initially part of the scope of what we've done, but they wanted help with their website. I know how to fix it and how to do it. Sure, I will make these changes. And of course, they come back asking for more. And then the scope changes and keeps going and going. And before you know it, I look at it, I've spent 16 hours, so 2 full days, doing stuff that's free. And I get well, thank you, I really like it, but nothing else. And the more times you start doing that and then start people asking for favors, the same client, it's like, well, fuck. Like, I should be charging thousands of dollars for what I've done. I did it for free. That's not cool. And the sad reality is, and I hate saying this, on this podcast, I've done this now numerous times. Like, I fucking should learn my lesson by now, that I give too much away for free in those early days. And even to this day, I probably still do a little bit too much of that, right? Where I need to be like, okay, this is the scope and we can have a little flex, but if it's beyond this, like, we need to make sure that it's done in a way that's fair to me. Because I know that a lot of business owners, they don't know what they don't know, right? They don't understand the marketing side. They don't understand what goes into, websites and video content and social media channels and everything that goes along with it. But when I first started out the business, I would undercut myself to get the deal, and then I'd over deliver in terms of the services. And they think they're getting this awesome package, which of course they are, but I'm actually getting nothing for it. Like, I'm better off not doing the work. And so it becomes a bit of a client from hell when then they start taking advantage of it, asking for more and more and more. And then when you say, look, I'm going to have to charge you, because that's what I eventually did, then it's silence. And then it's, oh, we no longer want to work with you, potentially. In this case, the person was just like, I can't afford the work that you've done. I appreciate everything you've done, but now I can't afford it, but I'm going to stop. And that's like, well, it's fucking annoying. But that shit happens, right? Then there's also the clients where I've worked with where it's like, well, let's do a trade of services, kind of, right? Like, I'll give you a bit of a discounted rate in exchange. Hopefully you give me a discounted rate and you're basically doing some services for me and I'll do some services for you. And the hard part with that model, and why I will never do it, I actually had a prospect say that they had done that in their business and they said it was the worst idea ever. And I agree, it is the worst idea ever, and I will never do it now either. It's hard to put a value on services when they're not complimentary at all. I did some major updates for a client in terms of their socials, their website content, and they did some work for me. I'm not going to name because I don't want to give anything away. But it definitely was not of equal value. of any sort. And then, I have the conversation about this, and then they said they want to charge me for some work that I was asking them for. And I said, well, wait a second. Like, I just basically did this, which was the equivalent of thousands of dollars. And you want to try and charge me, I think it was like $500. And I was like, I don't want to pay that. Because I said, that's bullshit. I should have charged you $2,000 for this job that I did. And, you're asking for 500. So it became a sore point, I think, on both sides. To this day, I think it's still a sore point. And so then when they come asking for discounts on trying to figure out their services of everything that they want to do, I'm like, I'm actually losing money on what you're doing now. So like, maybe we're just not a fit. And so that becomes a bit of a thing where it's like the barter system, I don't know if that's the right word, we'll call it that, doesn't work for my type of business because it's hard to put a value on it. Like, yes, you can say there's the time, there's the cost to produce videos and social media content. Sure. But there's also the inherent value that a business gets from the videos that I produce that it's hard to quantify initially out of the gate of how much the more business that can give them. And if someone's providing another service, it's not equal. Like, there's no apples to apples there. So that can be a big challenge as well. Another thing that makes some clients feel like clients from hell is when they don't respect my time. I've had clients where I will show up to do coaching, and for the first year I was in business, I was doing in-person coaching for some businesses. I'd show up and then like, oh, the person's off today, or they're not in, or, oh, they're running behind by like an hour and a half, and not really respecting my time. And by that, I mean, one, not being prepared for it, even though it's in their calendar. Two, not even apologizing about, being late, or no showing me. And so then I moved to a model of, well, we're only going to do virtual and there's no rescheduling, which is more hardcore. But it also became a bit of a pain in the ass, when, again, you're sitting around and you're no showing. And the busier I got, especially this year, I'd say in this last half of, this last year or so, I've gotten a lot more busier and my time is super valuable. Like, people want to do business with me and I hate pushing business off. But I had so many instances where people are canceling last minute. Not canceling, I guess. No one really cancels, but they're asking to reschedule. Just the other night, I was supposed to be going and doing a nighttime video shoot. So by nighttime, I mean like after 5 p.m. And I really don't do them normally, but I made an exception for this client. And literally, like, I'm packing up the car and then I get a notification that they want to reschedule. And that is so annoying for me because I had other people who wanted to do work with me. In fact, the time that I'm recording it this week, I've had 3 of the sessions that were supposed to be scheduled this week all get rescheduled. To me, it's super annoying. It's super disruptive because they're all pushed now into the next 2 weeks, which means my next 2 weeks are absolute hell. That's why I'm actually recording today, because I actually have time. But it is so irritating when people don't respect your time. They don't give you enough notice. They forget that you're coming, even though there's reminders. I've now set up with Calendly as an example. You get email, you get text reminders, you get 24 hours, 1 hour, and then 15 minutes beforehand reminders that we have a meeting. And still, it's fucking annoying. It just doesn't work out. So to avoid these, I'm going to call it nightmares with some of these clients from hell, I have come to realize the power of, I've tried some automation. I've tried direct follow-ups. Some people I'm actually just trying to reconfirm before we connect. But also trying to really gauge during that conversation with a prospect, are we going to be a good fit or not? If I see red flags through the sales process, I'm getting to the point now where I'm politely trying to say, I don't know if we are the best fit, and I try and find some other way to say, here's some recommendation for some other people. I'm really trying to guard my time and my energy level because I want to bring the best to everybody that I work with. And if it's not a good fit, then we probably shouldn't work together. I think it helps from being I guess, having a strained relationship with people. Because again, I didn't give specifics away, but some of the people that I have worked with that have kind of, let's say, burned me, I have some strained relationships with, or maybe it's one sided. Like, I just don't feel confident working with them moving forward beyond maybe some of our contracts that we have. And I think that's a tricky part, is that if we can find ways to build better processes to maybe weed out the people who are not a good fit and stay firm on, it's going to cost you more for certain services. I need to respect the time, no cancellation policies. It's all procedural based. I think things could be much better so we don't have to deal with clients from hell. In your business, whatever lane you're in, have you had to experience this? Has there been clients that you consider clients from hell? The ones who ultimately make some nightmare projects for you, and how have you avoided them? I'd love to hear those. You can send me a message on that. You can DM me, on social media, leave a comment or anything as well. Or if you want to book a call, you can definitely connect with me as well. But again, thanks for tuning in this week as we talk about clients from hell and some of the nightmare projects that can happen. But at the end of the day, when these projects happen, I do think it has to look back on me and what are the things that I could have done differently. All right, that's it. See you next time. All right, that's a wrap for today's dose of reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.